Hello and welcome to Anarchy in the Ukulele with me, Paul Mansell. Today I'm going to review a lovely new book called Fingerstyle Ukulele Etudes 2 by Jeffrey Weinberger. There's already part 1, but this is the second one that Jeffrey has done, and it's a beautiful, beautiful book. I thought we'd start off by me playing one of the etudes from it. This is etude number 6. Isn't that absolutely beautiful? Really gorgeous piece. So let me tell you a little bit about Jeffrey Weinberger. He's been playing guitar for 50 years. He's an excellent classical guitar player, and he's recently moved over to ukulele. He's already done a couple of books. He did one book on Tarraga, some Tarraga studies, and of course he did Fingerstyle Ukulele Etudes Part 1. He's a great player and he clearly understands the ukulele very, very well. Now this book, Fingerstyle Ukulele Etudes Part 2, has 10 etudes in it. There's much to love about this book. It's available as hardback, and I think it's also available as an ebook. I had a look online, there's different prices actually. I know that the number 1 book sells for about $10 in some places. I'm not sure how much this one is, but it's cheap. And it's really worth it. An etude, when an etude is written, an etude is a study. It's French for study. And it should be written for an actual purpose. That's the point of a study. So a lot of, for example, Tarraga's study, if you think about study in A minor, the whole point of it is that it's a study for your right hand to be doing that picking pattern. And Jeffrey has cleverly understood that. So each of the 10 etudes here studies something. Some of them study counterpoint, which is where your melody and your bass or your harmony are going in different directions. No mean feat on a ukulele when you've only really got the 2 octaves to play with. Some of them just aim to enhance and extend your chord vocabulary. Some of them are arpeggio studies. And then quite a few of them are about doing right hand rolls. I love the pieces in this book, and they're graded. They get sort of harder as they go on, and some of them really are quite tricky. I mean, that's number 6, and I'd probably put that in English terms at about grade 3, something like that. Jeffrey clearly has a very classical background. He talks about the different styles that you can play. So he talks about apoyando and tirando, which are 2 different types of stroke when you're playing with your fingers. Apoyando is when what we call rest stroke, where you play and you get quite a thick note because you're resting onto the next string. Tirando, commonly known as free stroke, is much thinner, and it's where we don't land on the next string. And Jeffrey goes through that in this book. He also talks a lot about the different sounds that you get from a ukulele, and this is something close to my heart because it's something that needs to be explored more really. The main 2 sounds that Jeffrey talks about in the book are ponticello, which is when you play near the bridge, it gives a metallic sound, and dolce, when you play up the neck, there's a much sweeter sound. And Jeffrey goes through in these pieces where you can play the different styles. You'll notice when I was playing that, there was a little bit where the first time I play it normally, and the second time I play a ponticello. to give it a different sound. So Jeffrey really knows his stuff, and he's got a wonderful classical background. And you can tell that he's a fan of Tarraga. You can tell that he's a fan of Ukulele, and I love that it comes through in the pieces. But he's done that. He's taken those guitarists and applied it beautifully to the ukulele. I mean, this piece here, I think it's got this beautiful little passage that goes, see if I can pick it up. Isn't that an absolutely gorgeous little passage? The book's laid out beautifully. It's laid out with the tab and the music. I've gone through it and I've played them all low G and high G. He also, at the beginning of the pieces, puts a lot of the chord shapes, and a lot of people like to have the chord boxes. So, for example, if you're doing that chord there, then it gives you the chord shape above, so it's easy to work out. Jeffrey studied music at the Berklee College of Music, which is a very, very well-known music school. He's also done a lot of producing and engineering, I believe. So definitely check out his other two books as well. He's got 2 YouTube channels. This book, you can find all the pieces on his YouTube played by himself. It's an excellent book. I'm always happy to see things that are furthering the cause for ukulele, especially in this classical vein like this. So it's nice to have modern pieces but in a classical style. I can't recommend this book enough. I had the pleasure also of seeing Jeffrey's 2 other books, and they're great, so do check them out. You can get it in hardback or as an ebook, which is really good. I know they're available on a very popular website that begins with A, that I can't bring myself to say the name of, or I'm sure if you approach Jeffrey directly, he will happily get them to you. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and to ring that bell.